you're the one that you've been looking for. And I'm just here to remind you of that. I've created this channel to learn things and then to share them with you.
What's up, you guys? My name is Keith, you are a man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, and entertainment. That being said, let's get right into it. Lucid dreaming. What people don't talk about is what to do once you've become lucid. So what you'll notice when you become lucid, my God. This candle has herbs on it and the herbs caught on fire, so it's going nuts right now. But we're gonna rock it anyways because we don't have really much any other choice. When you become lucid, the first thing you're going to realize and what's going to happen to you is you're going to become so excited that the dream dissolves. And this is why I think Terence McKenna, when he met the dream elves, said that they told him, do not give in to astonishment. The dream elves said, do not give in to astonishment, Terence. And I think the reason why is because astonishment has a sense of disbelief in it. We are only astonished at the impossible. And they are impossible because they shouldn't be done. The first time the Wright brothers flew their airplane, people were in astonishment because people shouldn't be flying planes. But the thing about astonishment, again, is it has a hint of disbelief in it. Now, the dream world is incredibly subtle. Any thought you have will be instantaneously projected into the dream depending upon your belief in that thought. So, when you become lucid, do not give into astonishment because you will lose lucidity. Now, this brings me to my next point. The thing about the lucid dream realm is that we are limited by our beliefs in the real world, unless we can program ourselves out of those beliefs, which is very difficult to do. So we hack that, we trick that. We imagine something that we can wrap our heads around in the dream world. So when I became lucid, my God, this is what I did. In 007, there were these mines you could stick on the wall. The old Nintendo 64 game, I used to play it all the time. For some reason, my subconscious remembered that. So what I did is I threw these mine-looking 007 style gadgets onto the wall that I was calling dream stabilizers. And I threw them in every corner of the room, 8 of them. 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. And immediately the dream stabilized, which is incredibly important to note because it demonstrates how the dream, how I couldn't just imagine the dream to be stable. I couldn't bridge the gap, but I could imagine such a thing as a dream stabilizer, and where I put it in the corners of the room and it maintained the vibration. Because what happens when you lose lucidity is the dream starts to vibrate and rattle. And then it slips into a regular third-person, hazy sort of dream. And so I knew that if I could stop that vibration, I could stop the process of losing the dream. So I created the, oh my God, now this one's catching on fire. I think we're on to something, you guys. My God. Gangster. Oh shit. Alright, we're gonna have to wrap this up before I catch my house on fire. I'll give you another example. I had another lucid dream where I wanted someone to be in the dream. I wanted a friend of mine to join me. And so what I did was I kept trying to just imagine her being in the dream, like appear. And of course she wouldn't appear, but in my mind I can't imagine the mechanics of someone appearing. It was I couldn't go from being there to not being there, from not being there to being there. It's really hard. But what I did because when I tried to imagine her there, like a grotesque old woman showed up, and I was like, that's not what I was going for. So what I did instead was I put my hand over her, like, so this is the screen, right? I go like this, and see how I disappear and reappear on the other side? Well, when she reappeared on the other side, it was the actual girl that I wanted to be there, right? Because I couldn't imagine in my head just poof, arrive. But for some reason, my mind could conceptualize, you know, it's almost as if I close my eyes and open them, something else was there. Because that does happen. I close my eyes, my hand is there. Or, you know, close it and it's gone. So I can imagine that. So when you guys start to become lucid, your first step is to figure out a way to maintain lucidity. Some people spin in circles, some people rub their hands together. Those things worked for me in the past, but those are other people's examples. The trick is getting something that resonates with you, that makes the most sense for your mind, because the beliefs that you hold strongest in this world will trickle over to the dream state. The more we can decode this world, right? So magic becomes science when we figure out the mechanics of it. Flying was magic until we figured out the mechanics of it. Fire was magic until we figured out the mechanics of it. Science and magic are the same fucking thing, trying to describe the same phenomena. For some of you that have more critical and analytical minds like mine, you have to reverse engineer the world, plug it into the lucid realm. And okay, so there's that. There's also the other thing that people don't talk about when it comes to lucid dreams, is that there are different stages of lucid dreaming. There's not just, oh my god, I'm dreaming and I can do anything I want. And this goes back to what I just said. We are limited to our beliefs in the dream world. I used to think just because I was lucid dreaming, like, oh, that's it, I can lucid dream, I can do whatever I want. And that's not the case. Becoming lucid is only the first step. You're barely scratching the tip of the iceberg at that point. Most of you will find, like myself, that in the beginning stages of lucid dreaming, you can't do anything. You can't change your setting. You can't appear in another dimension. You can't appear in a different place. You can't change your setting. You can't fly like you want to. You can't do magical things like you want to. Going lucid is just step one. Going lucid is like, it's awesome and it's wonderful, but it's gonna take some practice. It's going to take some practice. It's going to take practice to be able to lucid dream consistently, and then it's going to take practice to train your mind to do what it wants in the dream. Like, say you want to travel to Mars, or I guess that would be more astral projecting, but say you just want to create a brand new setting, be in the woods or something, or be at a party with a bunch of fairies or something. First, stabilize your dream. So go into the dream. For me, I would put up my dream stabilizers. For you, it could be whatever represents stability the most for you, so that you maintain lucidity first and foremost, and then imagine a door, right? Because the cool thing about doors is that anything could be on the other side of a door. That's what I would do. I would go, okay, I want to be partying with fairies and gnomes and trolls, drinking champagne, and that will be on the other side of this door, and I can see that, especially since I know I'm in a dream. I'm like, oh, that's perfect, this is the easiest way. Or some people walk through mirrors to get to different dimensions. It's all about what you can imagine, you guys. It's all about what you can conceptualize in your mind to be true. The true power of lucid dreaming, in my opinion, is going into the subconscious and reprogramming the software using your consciousness. So most people try to reprogram their subconscious in the waking world, but I would like to reprogram my subconscious in the dream world, again, because the dream world is extremely susceptible to subtle energies. It's a lot easier to change the subconscious when you're in it than when you're in the waking world. And as you guys all know, a change in the internal world will reflect on the external world, just like the external world will affect the goings on in the internal world. I guess the cool thing is it's easier to reprogram the internal than it is the external, most of the time. It's easier to fix my world than the world, for example. It's easier to clean my room than it is to clean up the United States economic system and its policies, right? Let's just be real. The internal is what we have the most control over. The trick is getting in there, and that's lucid dreaming. The trick to getting in there is lucid dreaming, which is why the first product I came out with was my lucid dreaming tincture. Like, people want to make all kinds of things, better health, immune system, psychic abilities, this and that, and they make all kinds of cool products. And then I, of course, make a lucid dream spagyric because I want to fucking go inside. My first lucid dream I was having a nightmare. So part of my nightmares is I know I'm dreaming and I can't wake up. And so the thing with lucid dreaming is the whole point is realizing you're asleep. So I thought, that's silly, Keith. If you're already in a nightmare and part of the nightmare is you know you're dreaming but you can't wake up, just turn it into a lucid dream. That very night I had a nightmare. The nightmare was I was being chased by these Tasmanian devil looking things with tornadoes on their lower half of their body. And I was running from one, and I was like, oh my god, I'm in a nightmare, I can't wake up. Oh shit, that's right, I'm having a nightmare, I'm dreaming. And then I went from third person, smacked into myself. I went through the back of my body, looking second person. I could feel the carpet under my toes. And I remember seeing the corners of the rooms were so vivid, like, oh my god, look at the detail in the corner of the room. I left the house where they were chasing me. Outside of the house was a pack of like 7-foot tall, light purple skinned Amazonian fiery red haired women with really tribal looking clothes on. And there was a chiefess that was maybe 10, 11 feet tall. She was a whole way taller than the rest of the squad. And as I approached the squad, the chiefess was staring at me while she talked to the rest of the women, like evilly staring at me, like looking at me like, you son of a bitch, as I walked by. And I'm looking at her going, weird. Go up to the first woman that's closest to me at the back of the group, and I tap her. I'm like, excuse me, you guys were chasing me a second ago and now you stopped. What's going on? And she turns and looks at me, looks down on me because I'm 5'9" on a good day. She's like 7 foot tall, and so she looks down at me and says, if you only knew what you were capable of, you would devour us. And then she turned back to look at the chiefess, who was still staring at me while she talks to the rest of the squad. And I started jumping, and that didn't compute. I was like, whatever the hell that means. And I start jumping over the house and flying, and then I get excited, and I lose the lucid dream. And since then, it's been up and down. I don't lucid dream that often. I know I do a lot of videos on them. I know I make my own dream tonic potion that works really well, but even this doesn't stimulate lucid dreams. It stimulates clarity of your dreams, vividness of your dreams, the color of the dreams, your dream recall so you can remember it more, but it doesn't actually stimulate lucid dreams. For some people it does, but for most it doesn't. The lucid comes to you. This is like, and other things are like supplements, like taking protein powder when you go to the gym. Just because you take protein powder doesn't mean you're going to get bigger. You got to actually work out to get bigger, but the supplements exponentiate the process, which is what this does. Just because you realize you're dreaming doesn't constitute a lucid dream. The other night I had a lucid dream, and I don't know why, but instead of putting the dream stabilizers in the room, I was in a classroom, and I was just sitting at a class listening to a lecture. Nothing, just sitting there. And then nothing triggered it. I just thought, oh my god, I'm having a dream. Nothing triggered it. It was the strangest thing. Normally something will trigger it, but I was just, oh my god, I'm dreaming. And I like stand up, and there was a person sitting across from me, and the person vanished into a puff of smoke, poof, and then reappeared as like a black guy. And he like looks at me and he's like, what can I do for you? And I was like, what? And he goes, what can I do for you? And I stand up and walk towards him, and I go, nothing, carry on. He goes, okay. And I go, wait, make sure I stay lucid. And he goes, what? And I go, make sure that I stay lucid. And he looks at me like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking? What does that mean? And I guess that was the wrong thing to say, because I immediately lost lucidity and the dream started vibrating. And the point I'm getting at is, just because you know you're dreaming doesn't mean you'll stay lucid, because I was losing lucidity of the dream in that it was vibrating and I was losing clarity, but at the same time I still was conscious. I was like, oh my god, I'm losing a dream, like I'm gonna go back into a dream, this sucks. But how is it that I can have the thought of witnessing the dream being lost but not be able to maintain lucidity? Because you would assume that since I was having that thought of I'm dreaming, I'm losing the dream, that would be enough consciousness to maintain the lucid dream. But it wasn't. I even fully lost clarity in the lucid realm and was back to a regular dream with the same thought, thinking, fuck, I had it, and now the lucidness is gone. So I was aware that I was dreaming, but it wasn't a lucid dream. Explain how that happens. I don't know what that means, to be honest with you, but what I do know is that that is proof that consciousness does not determine lucid dreaming. There has to be some other thing that connects you, and I haven't been able to deconstruct that. But I'm working on it. And I'm getting closer every day. So I have about 45 seconds of video left, so that's about it. If you guys made it this far, thanks a whole bunch for being here. My name is Keith, your man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, and entertainment. You can check out my Etsy shop if you want to get the Lucid Dream. I think it's free shipping for another like 6 or 7 days, so you want to do that quick. It's a blend of mugwort and Mexican dream herb. It tastes like fucking ass, you guys. I'm not gonna lie to you, this does not taste good. Kale Zacatechichi Mexican dream herb is the most bitter thing you will ever taste. Even the tea tastes awful, but this is a concentrated, separates the essential oil, it separates the mineral salts and the ethyl alcohol of the plant, concentrates it, and then adds it all back together in a solution, which makes it super potent. It's called spagyric. It's actually a very specific alchemical process that's been used for hundreds of years that separates the mind, body, and soul of a plant, so that you're not getting just the essential oils, not just the ethyl alcohol, not just the mineral salts, but all of it concentrated back into one form. It's enough of that. But yeah, thanks for being here. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'd prefer you guys comment over anything, because when you comment, it helps the algorithm of the video to reach more people. Also, I have a mental block with replying to emails, so I'll probably get back to you within a week if you email me, but a few minutes if you comment. Go figure. But that's it, you guys. Thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. And if you guys subscribed already, thank you. And if you at least considered subscribing, thank you for that as well. I really appreciate that. And if you've been here for a while, then I thank you for your continued support. It really does mean a lot to me. And the channel's growing, you guys. We're gonna hit 50K soon. No, first 10K, and then 25K, then 50K, and then 100K, and then 500,000, and then 1 million, and then you best believe Man of Letters is slowly taking over the world. So all your guys' continued support to push that dream and goal of mine means a lot. It really does. So thank you guys. I appreciate everything, and I'll see you in the next video.